Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the second episode in a series dedicated to Docker. In the last episode, we looked into what Docker is, what existed before Docker, and we also ran some basic Docker commands. But today, we're going to be exploring building Docker images using Dockerfiles. We'll be breaking down the commands that make up a Dockerfile, and we'll also write our own Dockerfile and use it in building a custom image. We'll then wrap it up by breaking down single-stage Docker builds and multi-stage Docker builds. So let's get started. What is a Dockerfile? A Dockerfile is a text file that contains instructions on how to build a Docker image. It's like a recipe that Docker follows to build your image. So just as a recipe provides you with a list of ingredients and step-by-step instructions to prepare a dish, Dockerfile contains a list of instructions to create a Docker image. And this makes it easy to replicate and distribute applications anywhere Docker is supported. Now let's look into some essential Dockerfile commands. Each command in a Dockerfile has a specific role in building our image. So let's explore these commands one after the other. So we have the from command, and from sets the base image for subsequent actions in the Dockerfile. This is the starting point of every Dockerfile, and you can think of it as choosing the underlying operating system like Ubuntu or Windows. This base layer is what your container is built on top of, and all subsequent actions take place on this layer. Next, we have the arg. The arg instruction is used to define variables that you can set at build time, and it's a flexible way to customize your Docker images during the build process based on an external input. Next, we have the env. The env sets environment variables. These variables are key configuration options that can dictate how software within the image behaves. For example, our application could need some environment variables to connect to an external service like a database, like a storage, like a cache, and so on and so forth. Next, we have the work dir, or the working directory. This instruction sets the working directory within the container. And all commands that follow in the Dockerfile, like the run, the cmd, and copy, which we'll still get to, will operate within this directory. Next, we have the run command. When you build your Docker image, Docker will read your run command and build it into your image as a separate image layer. So for example, if you're building dependencies that your applications rely on, you use the run command. Next, we have the add command. The add instruction in a Dockerfile lets you copy files from your computer or a remote location into the Docker image you're building. And it's just like moving files into a folder that is going to be used inside the Docker container. Next, we have the copy. And basically, this copies new files or directories from a source and adds them to the file system of your container at a particular destination. And it's usually used to copy files and folders from the directory of building the Docker image directly into the Docker image itself. Next, we have the cmd instruction, and this basically provides defaults for executing a container. So it basically allows you to set the default command and parameters that will be executed when you start your Docker container. For example, a command to run a bash script or a Python application. And the cmd can also be overridden by providing command line arguments when your container starts. Next, we have the entry point. The entry point instruction in a Dockerfile sets the primary command that your Docker container will run every time it starts. This command is like the main task or function that the container is built to perform. And you can think of an entry point as setting the default action for an appliance. For example, if you have a coffee machine, its primary function or entry point might be to brew coffee when turned on. Similarly, if you specify an entry point in a Dockerfile, you're telling the container every time someone starts you, this is the command you should execute first. Next, we have the expose. And basically, this informs Docker that the container that you're running should listen on a specified network port at runtime. And this is very crucial for communicating with other containers or to access the services running inside the container from outside. We also have the user command. And the user command in a Dockerfile is basically used to set what user or user ID the Docker container should use when it runs. So it basically specifies under which user the container operations will execute. And this is very important for security, as running as a non-root user can help to prevent unauthorized access or changes to the system. We'll be using some of these commands we've explored to build our Docker image. Without further delay, let's see these in action. We'll start by writing a simple bash script that outputs a greeting. We'll write a Dockerfile that will contain steps to build a Docker image, and we'll run a Docker container from this image. So let's get to it. Head over to your code editor or any IDE you have installed. In my case, I'll be using VS Code. I have a directory which is called Docker Series EP2, and this is where we'll be having all our files for this particular tutorial. So let's start by creating our bash script, right? So I'll be creating a new file and we'll name it app.sh, right? And the first line of a bash script is usually the shebang. So let's write that. And it looks like this, /bin/bash. And basically the shebang specifies the interpreter that should be used to execute the script. So next thing, let's enter, echo, enter your name, and then the next line, our command line will read for our name or listen for our name. So we'll be prompted to impute our name when we run this script. And for the last line, let's do an echo again, which basically prints out stuff. We can write a hello and a $sign name to read the inputs that we entered, which is our name. And let's write a welcome to Dockerfiles tutorial. So this script basically asks for our name, and when we enter our name, it says, hello DevOps, welcome to Dockerfiles tutorial. Now, let's Dockerize this application with a Dockerfile. And to do that, let's create a new file. Let's call it Dockerfile, right? So that's created, right? So as I mentioned previously, every Dockerfile starts with a from command. And also mentioned earlier that we can use it to set our operating system. So in this case, let's use Ubuntu, right? And the from instruction basically initializes a new build stage, right? And it also sets the base image for subsequent instructions. And as such, every valid Dockerfile must start with the from instruction. Next, let's set our default working directory within the image. So we'll do that by doing work dir, and in our case, we can just do a /app, right? Next, let's copy our bash script from our local working directory. So that's copy app.sh into our container working directory, and we can do that with a full stop, right? Next, let's grant execution permission to the bash script. We can do that by running a run chmod +x app.sh. And then next, let's enter the command to run our script when the container starts. And we do that by running a cmd, and we put in brackets command to run our script, which is just ./app.sh. And we're doing the ./app.sh relative to the working directory within our Docker image. So each line in this Dockerfile helps to build our Docker image step by step. Starting from the base Ubuntu image, we set the working directory, copy the application script, make it executable, and define a command that launches the script. Now let's build our Docker image. And to do that, we basically come to the terminal. So let me save this, Command S, and then we can just access our terminal. VS Code has an integrated terminal, which you can see here. But to access it, you can just click on terminal and click on new terminal, right? So we'll build our Docker image by running docker build, -t, which is just a tag for our image. Let's name it welcome image, and then a full stop. The final full stop in this command provides the path or the URL to the build context, basically meaning that, at this location, the builder will find the Dockerfile and other files referenced for example bash script, which is basically our app.sh. So let's press enter and have our Docker build run, and then the build is complete, right? We can view the image by running docker images, and we can see that our image was created 7 seconds ago. Now let's run our Docker container. And to do that, we just enter docker run -it, which is for an interactive shell to be launched. And we enter our image name, which is welcome image. Enter. So it's requesting for my name, do the DevOps dude, and it says, hello, the DevOps dude, welcome to Dockerfiles tutorial. What we have just seen is what we refer to as a single stage build. At times, the resulting image we have from this single stage build can be quite large, And this leads to slower build times, a high resource consumption in our Docker registry, and a lot more demerits. One of the ways to address this issue is to leverage multi-state builds. Now let's talk about multi-state builds. There are two main reasons why you want to use a multi-state build. The first is that they allow you to run build steps in parallel, making your build pipeline faster and more efficient. And second is that they allow you to create a final image with a smaller footprint, containing only what's needed to run your program. In a Dockerfile, a build state is represented by a from instruction. And if you remember, I said every Dockerfile must start with a from instruction. There you have it on our introduction to Dockerfile. We've covered essential Dockerfile commands, explored how to build Docker images from Dockerfiles using a simple bash script, and we've also had a brief introduction into multi-state builds for more efficient images. In our next episode, we'll be diving deeper into multi-state Docker builds with a practical scenario. As we wrap up, remember that mastering Dockerfiles enhances your deployment process and the scalability of your applications. Thank you for joining me in this tutorial. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more content like this. Drop your questions or suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.